Have you ever been talking to somebody, but you knew that they weren't listening to you? See some head nods. Yeah, it's a pretty common thing. Usually doesn't feel very good when that happens, does it? Yeah. Well, maybe if you listen to what I've learned about listening, you can become a better listener and maybe even improve your relationships. You see, I had to learn how to listen the hard way. I don't think I've ever been a very good listener. I have a very active mind and I tend to overthink things. This doesn't translate very well to good listening. For example, right now I'm not thrilled with my career path, so I've been volunteering places to try to find something I'm passionate about and meet new people. One of the organizations I decided to volunteer for was a group that pairs elderly people with volunteers to provide them with companionship. So I attended the orientation, and as part of an icebreaker activity to meet the other volunteers, you talk with a partner for about 5 minutes, and then you introduce them to the group. So I got paired with this nice older woman named Natasha. We talked for about 5 minutes, and then when it was my turn to speak, I said, "Hi everybody, this is Natasha." She joined this group because she believes in care and respect for elderly people. And then very confidently, I said, and fun fact, she actually used to play basketball overseas semi-professionally. Everybody in the room oohed and ahed. A curious volunteer followed up my introduction to Natasha with, "Oh, that's really cool, you play basketball overseas. What team did you play for?" Natasha replied, somewhat disheartened, "I never played basketball overseas, but my husband did." You know the feeling after you embarrass yourself in front of a room of people? You kind of wish you had like a jetpack and the ceiling would open and you could fly off into the distance. Well, that's exactly how I felt at this moment. I didn't have a jetpack, but I was embarrassed. I was thinking to myself, I need to be a better listener. I'm too focused on myself. It wasn't the end of the world, but it stuck with me. How can I become a better listener? Then I remember this book I read a couple years ago called How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. Have any of you ever read it? It's a brilliant book. If you haven't read it, I recommend reading it. But there's a principle in there on listening, and it is, in order to become a better listener, become genuinely interested in other people. Now I like this because it's not a cheap gimmick. It's not pretend to be interested in other people so you can get what you want out of them. It's be genuinely interested in other people. Okay, so I have my new principle on listening. How do I put this to test? Just so happens, as part of my journey of self-discovery, I attended another volunteer organization. This one's called Better Angels. It focuses on getting opposite sides of the political spectrum together to have civil discussions about politics. Something I'm definitely interested in, so I decided to attend one of their skills workshops to see how they work. As luck would have it, one of the skills that they were teaching was listening, because as I'm sure you've seen on cable news, sometimes when people are having political discussions, they don't listen to each other. So for the workshop, you get partnered up with another volunteer. I got partnered with this cranky older woman named Judy, and the idea behind the skill workshop is you talk with someone talks for a few minutes, and the listener, your only goal is to listen to what they have to say and reflect it back to them in your own words. Someone once told me this is called mirroring. Okay, so I have to be genuinely interested in what she had to say, and I have to mirror what she had to say. So Judy starts talking for a few minutes about immigration, and I don't agree with everything she's saying, but when my only goal was to mirror what she had to say and I was genuinely interested in her, I listened a lot better. So after Judy was done talking, I said, "Oh, okay, so you're concerned about the financial and security risks that immigration costs the United States." And she said, "Yes, exactly. You are a good listener." That's the first time in my life anybody has ever said I'm a good listener. What struck me, though, is not that she said I was a good listener, but I never remember listening so effectively. But when all I did was mirrored what she had to say and I was genuinely interested in her, I listen 10 times better than I regularly do. So you might be thinking to yourself, why do I care? Why should I listen to anybody? Well, first of all, you can avoid embarrassing yourself like I did in front of a group of people. And maybe this time it's in front of your boss in a meeting, or in front of your father-in-law at dinner in a few weeks. But also, I noticed that since I've started listening to people, my relationships have improved a lot better, because people respond a lot more positively to you if you actually listen to them. Dale Carnegie wrote in his book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, you can win more friends in 2 months by becoming interested in other people than you can in 2 years by trying to get other people interested in you. In other words, listening is important. So next time you want to brag about the sweet vacation you took, let someone else do the talking and listen up. Thank you.
Okay, good job.